Welcome to another edition of First 5 p.m. here on WFRV Plus. What has happened to my collar? Well, you know what? Who knows? Anyways, I am your host, Indiana Shills. We're back. You know, we missed yesterday, so hopefully you didn't miss me too much yesterday. Unfortunately, I got a really weird thing going on with my sinuses, and my throat's kind of all messy and scratchy, and it's not been fun. I just been feeling meh even today. There's just a lot of sinus pressure. I got a headache, but we're pushing on. We're hanging in there. I think it's probably the change in weather when I went from cold to warm to cold to warm. You know, now it's snowing again. Who knows what's going on? But yeah, it's good to be back. Unfortunately, I might sound a little crummy. I don't know exactly how my voice sounds to you guys, but it's definitely feels a little different. And unfortunately, I didn't bring my water in here, which is kind of a bummer. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. You know, we always do. Anyways, let's recap. I know it's Tuesday, but let's recap the weekend. Friday, after the show, went over to the golf simulator, hung out with some friends, had some fun, ate a nice pizza, hung out there, and then I actually decided to go home and stream with a couple friends. That was a good time. And then Saturday went home. That's when the real fun began. Mackenzie, she made a nice pasta dish for her and I. It was she said it was meh. I said it was probably like a 7 out of 10. It was solid. Little rotisserie chicken thrown in. It was like creamy chicken, garlic pasta. I don't know. Whatever it was good. Good enough for me. You don't see me saying no to many food items. Maybe a little bit more nowadays, but we'll carry on with it instead of say the stupid jokes. But and then we got to go over to meet up with the boys and had a nice poker night. Yours truly bought in 3 times. Yeah, didn't do too well. Unfortunately, we lost on a couple crazy hands. Both hands that cleared me out. I had a full house. They had a full house. They had a higher full house. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But whatever, you know, it was fun to hang out with the guys and we all relaxed and chilled and stayed up pretty late. I mean, I don't think I went to bed until 3:30 that Saturday, but Sunday got up for the golf simulator, which actually went very well for myself. I was a little nervous because if you guys didn't know, I've been dealing with kind of a back injury the last 2 years with 2 herniated discs, but it feels like they're finally starting to heal and things are finally starting to get back on the right track. I was able to swing. I mean, eventually towards the end, I was kind of not shooting the best, but the drives, as Jared, my buddy, would say, were I was Mr. Consistent, about 200 yards straight. That's for the heavy hitters, Jared, AP, and even Jason had a couple of them. Eric, they're hitting at like 310, 340. I'm like, okay, well, sure. If that's what you guys got to do. We did play a team scramble. It was a 3v3, so we had 6 people there. And yeah, it was a good time. It was me, Jared, and Eric against Mitch, Jason, and AP, and we ended up taking the round. Not a ton of thanks to me. We didn't use too many of my shots, but they look good. Again, on a simulator. So who knows if that's going to correlate to the actual season. No chance it does. None of us wanted to putt, so gimmies were inside 17 feet. There, yeah. We probably would have shot a lot worse if the gimmies weren't within 17 feet, but it was still a good time. And then I really didn't want to go home on Sunday night, so I ended up going to Potawatomi, the casino down in Milwaukee. Little solo trip there. We went to the Asian cuisine restaurant. down there, which was very good. Sat at the bar, had some crab rangoon that was phenomenal. And then stir fry beef and broccoli with some jasmine rice. Tell you what, that was the good stuff. Then we played some slots for a little while. We brought $500. Played some slots for a little bit. Lost about 200 on slots. They just weren't really going our way. And then we sat down, locked in over at the roulette table for. That's probably the longest I've ever spent at a roulette table, or at least not a table, the machine. Sat there for probably an hour and a half, and we actually ended up working our way all the way back to even. Technically, we walked out after 3 hours at the casino, 3.5 hours more like up $1. So successful day in my book. And then we just went home and hung out with Mackenzie. She played some video games, and I kind of watched her play. And then yesterday I just woke up and sneezing like a son of a gun. Throat itchy as all heck, and I was just like, I can't come in today. I can't be on the air. And even today, like I said, I just feel like just kind of meh. But we're pushing on, and unfortunately, I was hoping to have a guest on today, but everybody is too busy with prior commitments, and that means I got to talk the whole time. But I do have some reporter packages and other stories to play. So why don't we go ahead and instead of using the first 7 minutes to talk about myself, well, can't say instead of it because we already did it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the first story. The first one is from Ellie Davis. Now, she was covering there's a critical need for blood shortage in Northeast Wisconsin. Let's go ahead and play Ellie's package that ran in our 4 p.m. show just a little bit ago.
Is currently facing a blood shortage, and Northeast Wisconsin is no exception. Local 5's Ellie Davis went to the Community Blood Center in Appleton to find out why they need volunteers to roll up their sleeves.
The need for blood is always constant, and sometimes there's even an elevated need, and this is one of those times.
Blood centers across the country say they are seeing a growing demand for blood donations, especially for certain blood types.
So we've had multiple hospitals that have been treating emergent patients, and they needed a lot of O positive, O negative, and other blood types to meet those patient needs.
Despite the ongoing need, the Community Blood Center says only 3% of Americans donate blood every year, with 65% being eligible. The Community Blood Center says during cold winter months, seasonal illness can make it harder to fill appointments.
I take a day off of work to come here and do this, because I know that it's so necessary.
Donors like Wright say that giving blood is a small step that can make a difference for somebody else.
I like knowing that I'm doing what I can. Is it altruistic? Not necessarily, because part of me thinks I want other people to be donating, for my loved ones, and so I want to be donating for someone else's loved ones.
She says that knowing her donations help people is surreal.
I know I'm like, wow, this is not something that can be bought or sold, and it's something that everyone can provide. Everyone.
Hagen says when donations drop, there is only one way to bring the supply back up.
Well, there's no substitute for donated blood. So we run into a situation where the inventory drops. The only answer for that is for people to donate blood.
In Appleton, Ellie Davis, Local 5 News.
Hagen says the Community Blood Center donates blood to 40 hospitals in Northeast Wisconsin.
So, good job from Ellie there, as always. If you got the time, you feel like volunteering and donating some blood, feel free to give back to the community. I don't know if I've ever donated blood. Maybe a couple times. Maybe back in the day. I got plenty to give, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, what do we got here? Almost commercial time. Not quite yet, though. We have some other stories that are trending. Let me go ahead and quickly, sorry about that. Let's bring up our website here. WeAreGreenBay.com if you don't know. Good website. I wrote about a couple interesting stories today earlier on. Now, CBS on the road, so it's from CBS Mornings. They were highlighting, if you don't know, Green Bay's got a man named Cat Grandpa Terry at Safe Haven Now, he's a 81-year-old volunteer, Terry Lauerman. He is gaining national attention after being featured on CBS On the Road with Steve Hartman. He's been an unlikely internet star for napping alongside cats at the sanctuary. So he spends many afternoons going to the sanctuary, resting in chairs while cats curl up around him. Moments that have been shared widely online. The viral attention, it's actually helped raise more than $100,000 for the nonprofit rescue. Safe Haven, it specializes in caring for special needs cats, has embraced Lauerman's popularity by creating merchandise, including calendars and coffee mugs featuring a local blend inspired by Cat Grandpa Terry. So that is available over on CBS, their morning show. You can see the full report on that. But sanctuary officials, they say the funds have allowed the organization to expand its services and continue providing specialized care for the cats in need. All right, let's go ahead and hit our first commercial break. When we come back, a couple more stories to talk about. Hope you guys are enjoying your snowy, unfortunately, Tuesday. A lot of slow traffic on the interstate, so if you're traveling, make sure to take it slow. Hopefully the snow will be, if it's not done already, it'll wrap up relatively soon here. We'll get a full weather check with Nathan Himsel in just a little bit. But for now, we'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Local 5's first 5 p.m. here on WFRV Plus. I am your host, Indiana Shills. Sorry with all the fun complications going on. You guys were probably staring at a black screen for about, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, whatever. It just, unfortunately, technical issues have arisen, but whatever. We'll carry on. We'll talk to the boss about getting that fixed for tomorrow. But vandalized ice sculpture featured on College Avenue in Appleton. It's actually unlikely to get back out in time after complications arose as crystal clear ice sculptures attempted to fix it. Now, there was apparently somebody who had vandalized this sculpture, and unfortunately, they have since turned themselves in. There is no word on if the Appleton Police Department will be referring charges to the district attorney's office for vandalism charges, but take a look.
Dayton out of the ice sculpture that was damaged on the Avenue of Ice. While the initial plan was for the sculpture to be put back on its pedestal this afternoon, there were a few complications along the way. Due to those complications, there has been a change in plans for the sculpture.
We made a valiant effort to put the thing back together. We tried piecing broken pieces back together, but there was too much missing and we couldn't do that. So we attempted to make a wedge to create all new fingers and thumbs for the hands that form the heart. And we were to a point where we were just about ready to start shaping everything. And one of the pieces let go while we were trying to slush it into place and broke even further to the point where it's no longer repairable.
Unfortunately, it's unlikely a replacement sculpture will be put out in time as the other sculptures will begin to deteriorate due to the weather. Dayton out of the ice sculpture that was damaged.
All right, so there is that story. Now another fun one coming up here. Let's go ahead and pull this one up. One of the more fun ones that I got to write up today. Cam one, clip one. Yeah, so the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, they've actually narrowed down their, let me just make sure this is playing on a loop so you guys can see. They've narrowed down their annual food fight contest to 5 finalists, giving fans the chance to help decide a new concession item for the 2026 season. It's centered around Salmon's Bratwurst. This year's competition features 5 creative dishes that could land on the menu at Neuroscience Group Field at Fox City Stadium. Now, the finalists, they include, you'll seeing all of them on screen right now, but as I talk about them, make sure you pay close attention. The Southwest Grand Slam, that is a jalapeno and pepper jack brat topped with pickled onions, you see right there, roasted corn and black bean salsa with cilantro and lime served on a brioche bun with avocado cream. That is one of the 5. The next one is the Reuben Bratwurst, a brat topped with a creamy Swiss cheese sauce, corned beef, and sauerkraut served on a pretzel bun with Thousand Island dressing. The Pizza Brat, an Italian brat on a bun with a garlic butter pizza sauce, pepperoni, and mozzarella cheese. The Hot Honey Brat, a classic brat drizzled with hot honey and brown mustard, topped with caramelized onions and served on a soft roll. And then Naf's Nacho Poutine Badger Brat coin served over waffle fries, topped with beer cheese and fresh cheese curds. Now, fans, they are able to vote for which food they believe should be served on the menu this year. The winning entry will be announced on March 12th and added to the concession lineup. Last year, the winner was Three Little Pigs grilled cheese sandwich. Previous champions include the Almighty Pork Sandwich, the Dinger Dog, the grilled cheese chicken sandwich, and other fan favorites. Now, Timber Rattlers, they open their 2026 season at home against the Beloit Skycarp on Thursday, April 2nd. We do have an article on our website at wearegreenbay.com where you can go ahead, click the link, cast your vote. Me personally, I like a lot of these options. For me personally, I would rule out the Southwest Grand Slam and the Hot Honey Brat just strictly because it's not something that I would eat. Now, the Reuben Bratwurst, the Pizza Brat, and Naf's Nacho Poutine. The Nacho Poutine, I feel like, would be one of the better items to serve because, you know, you're getting kind of like a full thing with brats, waffle fries, beer cheese, cheese curds. Kind of a big fun thing there. Now, the Pizza Brat, though, don't get me wrong, that one sounds pretty good. Garlic butter pizza sauce, pepperoni, and mozzarella cheese. But I would probably have to say the one that I will be voting for is the Reuben Bratwurst with that creamy Swiss cheese sauce, corned beef, and sauerkraut served on a pretzel bun, a little splash of Thousand Island dressing. To me, that sounds pretty darn good. That would probably be, when I cast my vote, that'll be the one that I happen to choose, just strictly based on what I think. Now, what do I think will win? I do think the Hot Honey Brat's going to win. Hot Honey is very big right now. A lot of my friends like Hot Honey. Some of them don't. Little inside joke there between me and my friend group. If you know, you know. There was a big argument over Hot Honey one day, and somebody got a little riled up. But yeah, that's probably, I would have to say probably the Hot Honey Brat, but I'm voting for the Reuben Bratwurst itself. All right, let's go ahead and take our final commercial break. When we come back, we're going to run Nathan Himsel's weather hit so you guys can stay up to date with weather, and then we'll conclude the show with a little bit of fun that happened at the end of our 4 p.m. show. So stay with us, guys. We'll be back in just 1 minute. Welcome back, family, friends, guests, foes. Maybe even foes are watching today. I hope I don't have too many foes, but welcome back to First 5 p.m. here on WFRV Plus. I'm your host, Indiana Shills. Last little 10 minutes here for us. Sorry again about the voice. I don't know if you guys could tell a difference, but to me, I can definitely tell a difference. But we'll hopefully battle through this little allergy, congestion, cold that we're dealing with. It's not really a sickness. It's more just a groggy feeling. And my sinuses are just so pressured and whatever. Let's go ahead and play Nathan Himsel's weather hit that aired so you guys can stay up to date with the latest weather.
His most accurate forecast from Storm Team 5. Meteorologist Nathan Himsel.
Well, if you felt left out yesterday watching all those videos of Ryan running around in the snow out in the Northeast, well, now you have it. Here it is. The snow is not going to be quite as heavy, but you see it coming down pretty quickly right now. Taking a look at Titletown, 27 degrees. You have a nice wind going out there. Looks like a snow globe, just a little less happy because we get to feel the cold with that one. And we also take a look out at Appleton. You see some snow, not as heavy there, but it is moving along. I'm taking a look at downtown Green Bay. Again, just some snow here, and our final destination up in Sturgeon Bay, lighter snow. Seems Titletown is really the hot spot right now as far as that heavy snowfall. With that radar and satellite, you can see that we had that snow. It's moving very quickly here, and we're seeing it move off towards the lakeshore here ahead of an occluded front. Now, it is already going to start to weaken on the back end there. really quickly moving off the lakeshore. That's why we're seeing those accumulations be a little bit lower, and we're not expecting too much from that. So we'll talk about the next round of snow showers that continue moving through today. You do have another brief warm-up late week, so don't expect that snow to linger around too long. It'll melt very quickly. And our next decent snow chance is going to be on Saturday. We'll take a look at that towards the end. Futurecast, again, this doesn't last too long. We see by 5 p.m. the models are already pushing that off of the lake shore here. You see it just linger around Sheboygan a little bit. And you'll even start to see clouds possibly open up a little bit. I think this is a little overdone where you're going to see some more cloud cover. Hold on, but we do hold on to those snow flurries farther up into the north woods as you head into your nighttime hours. Not too much of a change from that. But with your Futurecast for snow, I said it's going to be light. We're holding Green Bay and most of the areas south of that underneath of 1 inch. Some areas come pretty close, so we could see it surpass that as you have Wapaka at 0.8 of an inch, Clintonville at 1.3. So you're going to see anywhere north of Green Bay be around that 1 to 2 inch range, going much farther towards the north. You can see it go a bit higher and go at 2.3. Iron Mountain actually getting closer to that 3 inch range up there. Then you have Sister Bay at 2.3. Right now, we'll talk about some of these temperatures. It is a cooler one out there. We're going to see those continue to lower now as we head throughout the evening. Temperatures are going to be in those mid to upper 20s outside right now. It is warmer than this time yesterday. Earlier today, we had seen around 7-8 degrees warmer. Now we're just looking around 3 to 5 degrees over the past 24 hours for a change. And this hour by hour is going to have things start to cool down as you head towards midnight here, going into those mid 20s. You'll see lower 20s in your early morning hours, and then even the upper teens for the early risers. Next 10 days does have quite an improvement as you look to Friday. Unfortunately, that is going to be more short-lived. You're going to see 31 on Thursday, quickly jump to 49 on Friday, 28 on Saturday is the return. Then you will go into those upper 30s as you reach Tuesday, reaching through to Thursday. You can see the 40s again on Friday. For tonight, what you can expect is just those stray flurries to linger around. It's going to be breezy and cold out there, leading into tomorrow where it's mostly sunny, breezy. Going to be still another cold day here. Your 7-day planner has a chance for late day flurries on Thursday, Friday. You're going to see some more sunshine, a bit breezy, but warm. Then temperatures do cool back down, so make sure you enjoy the most of that Friday. Caitlin?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a really nice day. But, you know, we still have some February to go still, and that's kind of typical for this time of year.
Yeah, this is typical for this time of year, but we like to take a little taste of spring when we can get it.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Nathan, thank you very much.
All right. You guys know the story of Punch the monkey that seems to be taking over the internet about a monkey that was abandoned by his family. Then he was all alone. Well, Nathan and Caitlin had a little bit of fun at the end of our 4 p.m. show. Take a listen.
He's been all over the internet. Punch, the adorable monkey, has become the internet's sweetheart after they saw him turning to his stuffed monkey as his friend. There's some good news for Punch, though. He's making more friends with the other monkeys in the enclosure and is accepted with his real-life companions. The Ichikawa Zoo, where Punch lives, said that he is no longer being scolded by the others. Nathan, I don't know if you've been following this, but I'm so happy to see that for Punch.
Well, I have mixed feelings on this. So I've been following Punch for a little bit. When they first brought him in, the other monkeys were really mean to him, and suddenly he's famous, and everybody wants to be Punch's friend. Not a huge fan of that. I think he should stay a solo act, if you ask me, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on Punch. I'll jump over to weather, something that makes a little more sense here. We're gonna see that you have a breezy, colder day on Wednesday again. We have some late day flurries on Thursday, and we'll go into a pretty nice weekend. Friday, nearly 50 degrees. Caitlin?
I kind of agree with Nathan. I'm not going to lie. Punch was... Nobody wanted to be friends with Punch. And then all of a sudden, he gets famous, and now people want to be friends with him. Just shows you how fame can really, really affect you and your friends and stuff like that. Just, what are we talking about? All right. All right, one more story here, guys. No more about Punch the monkey. What do we got? Well, quickly, I guess we'll just mention big news tonight for politics. State of the Union is tonight. Donald Trump, he will use Tuesday's State of the Union to address to champion his immigration crackdowns, his slashing of the federal government, and his push to preserve widespread tariffs that the Supreme Court just struck down, and his ability to direct quick-hit military actions across the world, including Iran and Venezuela. Make sure, the Republicans, they hope he can convince increasingly wary Americans that his policies have improved their lives while ensuring that the U.S. economy is stronger than many believe, and they should vote for more of the same when it comes to the November elections. Now, that balancing act of celebrating his whirlwind first year back in the White House while making a convincing case for his party in midterm races which he personally won't be on the ballot, is a tall order for any president, but it could prove especially delicate for Trump, given how happy he is to veer off script and ignore carefully crafted messages. Now, that can be seen tonight, I believe. Let's go see. They give us a time here. Doesn't look like I got a time here. Well, it's happening. Oh, here, 7 p.m. Eastern time, just a little bit after my show here. You can catch it. We do have we'll have an article on our website at wearegreenbay.com that will be live streaming the presidential remarks as well as the Democratic response. So if you are interested in that, feel free to check that out. But that is all the time we got for tonight. Just want to say thank you for joining. First 5 p.m. here on WFRV Plus for Indiana Shills. Well, hold on. We got 30 seconds still. Can't end it yet. Just want to say thank you, though. Hopefully tomorrow we're starting to feel a little better. Maybe we'll take we'll have some cough drops, try to clear the throat out a little bit, and get back to the old ways, get a little more energetic and a little more fun. So anyways, now that is all the time I have for. Just want to say thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your snowy Tuesday.